Well, good afternoon, Vilas. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Why is my video not on? Oh, I know. Hold on. Voila.
Well, welcome to my sleigh ride. Uh,
Is it Christmas?
No,
I don't even know what year it is anymore, so it could be Christmas. It's fine.
it's a holiday special.
There you go. That's right.
Well, I'm glad to have you here today. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of
It's a
course.
pleasure to be here. I made myself some lemon ginger tea.
Ah, very good. I'm drinking some green tea from a local gas station called Casey's.
In my Serenity cup. Oh, green tea. Serenity.
I love that. Oh, that's beautiful. So, Vilas, I know that you run Vilas Real Estate, or not Vilas Real Estate, you're right, Wright Real Estate, which is wonderful because you're the right person to get the right real estate for clients, which I love.
All the puns are appropriate.
Excellent, good. And I know that you have a biography that's coming out, hopefully, I think by the end of this year, right? I think that
Hopefully, yeah.
excellent. I can't wait. I've heard tidbits, and I got to tell you, I am very excited. I'm very excited for that one.
I'm excited to hear feedback. I'm scared and excited.
Well, you always go to your friends, go to your friends. And then if you can, find a few enemies to review it as well,
Exactly.
Speaking of, so I kind of want to know a little bit about, I know you from the Tuesday morning meetings that we attend.
Yes.
And you are a very well-spoken person, and you are very, you know what you like. And I want to know, how do you determine if you are going to bond with a person?
The first thing I attempt to do is find some common ground so that I can make the other person feel comfortable and let down their guard. The thing about the way that I do business is that I do mostly 90% or more of referral business. So what happens in that situation is the referral is the trust is transferred from the person who said you should call the loss, and so they go, oh, well, I trust that person, and so therefore I trust you. So I kind of already have a shoe in, because they go, okay, well, if Joe trusts you, then I'm going to trust you. So this is what's happening right now. I have clients, and it's the parents of a buyer that I had a few years ago. And he's like, oh, you got to call her. Don't worry. She'll take good care of you. And every single thing I've said, they're like, we trust you and we're relying on your judgment. And I'm like, I mean, it's wonderful because it's easier to do the process when you know somebody trusts you. But I had a conversation with somebody who was a cold call to me this morning. This woman called me and she says, will you list my house in the MLS? I'll give you $150. And I was like, it doesn't really work that way. And I did the research on the property, and I was like, this is why your property will not sell, even if I list it, and I'm risking my reputation. And she says, I'm not asking you to list it. I'm just asking you to put it in the MLS. And I'm like, that is exactly the same thing. And so she was talking over me. She wasn't listening. She was not a referral. She was cold calling brokerages, trying to find out who would be willing to do it for $150. And at the end of the conversation, I was like, that's not how I work. It doesn't work that way. And I said, I have a reputation. I have an entire business to run. She's like, I'm asking you to do 10 minutes of work. And I'm like, that's not exactly what's happening. And at the end, I was like, I'm so sorry. I really wish you luck. And if you change your mind about how you want to do it, I'm happy to engage further. And she was like, well, how much money do you want? And I was like, no, I want a dialogue. I want a connection. I don't want you to throw money at me and bark orders. That's not how it works. It's a cooperation. We work this thing together. There's a massive storm going on. Did you hear the thunder?
I did. Can you hear the motorcycle rally going by?
No.
Okay, good. No, I heard the storm though. I heard that.
Yeah, it's really coming down.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's when I try to connect with someone. First of all, I fancy myself to be quite a chameleon. I can find something in common with everyone. And it makes it really easy to be human on the planet with people that are different. It really does. Because I'm just like, oh, you're from a different country. I grew up in a different country. Oh, you speak a different language? Cool. I speak those different languages or whatever, like I just always look for commonalities. Oh, you're 50 and having trouble losing weight? Me too. Like whatever it is, I don't even care. I will find it and I'm in.
There's got to be that trust, which is a really interesting way to go about it. It's kind of like a building mechanism.
Right.
I mean, I've heard of a thing before that everybody is connected by 6 circles, but if you're not connected in that first circle, I think that's kind of maybe what happened with your lady today.
Right.
And she didn't know you well enough to know how to work with you.
And I left it open for her. I'm like, if you would like to have more of a dialogue, I'm happy to do that. But I need the connection for you to be successful and for me to be successful. But I'm not going to say, and I kept saying to her, I'm giving you free advice on the phone right now of how to be successful in selling your property. But you can't hear me because all you want is to give me $150 so that I can punch your property into the MLS. And that's not how it works. And so she's like, that's all I need you to do. And I'm like, but it's not that simple. So yeah, the connection is required. So I have the parents of this friend, and it has been the most successful, smooth transaction so far. Everything is great because they've transferred that trust. And they're like, you took good care of him. I know you'll take good care of us, and we trust you.
Were you always like that? Or did you develop that sense of learning how to build your group more solidly? When did that happen for you?
Honestly, it's about confidence. And when I say confidence, I mean self-confidence. And I know that if I fall down, there's a lot of people back there that will pick me up. Maybe not these people. Maybe I'll fall down in front of them and I'll be like, you know what? I failed on this one. It's devastating. I don't like to fail. But I have all of these other people that are like, it's okay. It's all right. Because I have built up my self-confidence by looking at my friends, your circle of people, your friends, your family, or whoever it is a reflection of who you are. Who you choose to keep company with, it either makes you or breaks you. So it's critical to find those people that you want to be most like. So whether it's philosophical, intellectual, financial, spiritual, whoever that is, wherever you want to go, you have to find those people and gravitate and grow with them, around them, and then expand. I'm not saying I don't have friends on every spectrum level of life. I love having like this huge, diverse friend group. I mean, one of my best friends just turned 30 and my daughter's older than her. And one of my best friends passed away a couple years ago. He was 75. I mean, he was my dearest friend. So, I don't need to be in my own little bubble in order to find friendship and camaraderie. I love having the diversity of different types of people. Many years ago, I'm gay, very out. Many years ago, I spoke for a gay real estate organization. And the guy who had started this group was like, hey, can you go down and speak to these realtors in Delaware or wherever it was? And so I went and I said to them, I said, if you don't have friends that are different, go out there and find some. You have to put yourself out there and be part of the world. Don't be part of a bubble because there's nothing there. Go out there and find people that are different from you and understand them. And actually you will better understand yourself.
What is the strongest character trait when you're going for people? I mean, they may be diverse, but what is a strong character trait when you see it, then you accept it, and no matter who they are, you're happy with what will come of it. But what's that character trait, or is there none? Is it just kind of a, how does that work for you?
I think it's actually the opposite. If I meet someone that has a lot of negativity, I can't. But I don't care who you are. If you are positive and optimistic and have at least that approach to life, like, well, let's see what we can do. Let's go down this road and find out. I'm like, let's go for the adventure. Let's do this. It's not, there isn't a character that, I think it's just an energy, this negative sort of like, if it's never going to work. And, one of my favorite things to say is, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you just have that positive vibe where you're like, I think that I think I can do this. I think I can buy this house. I think I can go on that vacation. I think I can take that job. I think I can, date that person or whatever. It's the adventure of life. And the more you say yes to life, the more windows and the more doors open for you. And you don't see them. Like, if you want to buy a white Honda Civic and you start thinking about it and doing research, all of a sudden, every time you go out on the highway, all you're going to see is white Honda Civics. That's what comes into your life. So it's the same with everything. If you start seeing the positive, it's going to be everywhere. That's all you're going to see is that positive, the people, the money, everything. It just, whatever you grow, it grows.
I love that. A friend of mine just walked in, and now that I'm thinking about it, you're in the middle of talking about, being positive and what you put out, you get back, and I just look over like, what happened?
Uh-huh.
I'll make sure to watch myself more with that. I think
it's critical. It's critical. If you start down a negative path, sometimes it's fun to wallow. Sometimes I want to sit on the couch and eat ice cream and salt and vinegar potato chips, and sometimes that feels good for a minute, but always know that you have control over it. You keep going, you're going to go down a slippery slope, and you're growing that. So if you want to wallow for a minute, that's fine. You're entitled to wallow. You have a bad day, go eat your pint of ice cream. I don't care. But pivot, all right, it's next day. What are we going to do? Let's do this. So, it's critical to know that your thoughts control your environment.
Yeah, thank you. I do need to become more aware of this. I have this odd dichotomy where I'm just, one day everything's wonderful, the next day everything is not, and very unpredictable. I'm going to work on it though. You're such a radiant person. I really enjoy, every time I get to have a meeting with you or even get to say hi to you, I always feel better. I want you to understand you put off that energy that you're talking about. So thank you for that.
I try. If I can make one other person feel energized, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I feel so much better right now. I was feeling, yes, so thank you. Okay, so here's another question. So I only hear great things about you as a real estate agent. How do you determine if a house is right for a client? I don't quite know how these things work, but do you sometimes when you meet a client and you're building that relationship with them, do you sometimes just know before they even see the house, like they're going to want this one?
No, because that is not in my control or my power. I am not attached to anything that they do. I'm attached to them being happy with their choice. I am there to inform their decision. I don't make their decision. I just provide information. I will go all the way to the end of the line. And if they're like, you know what? I don't think so. I'm going to figure out how to get them out of this. I will never let them make a decision that they will regret, because actually that's $1 to my whole life. and I will be happy to give up the dollar for the rest of my life, having somebody going, hey, Vilas, you did an amazing job. You know, sell a house to my sister, or sell this house and let us buy another one. That moment is not what I'm there for. I'm there for the big picture. So if they change their mind, it's my job 100% to pivot and go. Honestly, I've seen houses that are perfect for the client and they didn't choose it. And the reason why is because their gut has to tell them. They're going to know when they walk into that house, they're going to know whether that's the one for them. They're going to feel it. It's going to talk to them. It's not my decision. I had a client once. He was a financial analyst, and he was very, very numbers, you know, logical. All right, this house has this, and the money, and the payments, and the HOA, and okay, it has all this. Okay, and then we do the inspection. All right, nope, that's not going to work, and we would get out of the contract. We probably did that 4 or 5 times. And he said to me one day, why can't I buy this house? Why can't I buy a house? And I said, because it's not an analytical decision. It's an emotional decision. Your gut has to tell you that this is your home. You will get married here. You will have babies here. You will have parties here. Somebody will die and you will cry here. This is your shelter. And your gut has to say, this is the spot. And he said, I will bring my girlfriend. He knew his limitations. He's like, all right, she can decide, you know, and she did. I mean, the next house, she's like, nah, this is good. This is great. So, I mean, as long as you know, I mean, it's the largest financial decision of your life. You know, maybe getting married or something is a larger emotional decision, but making that decision, it's not about your payments. You know, there's tons of people that can make payments on a house. That doesn't mean they're going to go buy one, because it is an emotional commitment. You're making a commitment to that home. It's going to provide shelter. I find real estate to be very alive and energetic, and it's critical to feel that. I have on my marketing sheet, it's not marketing, it's like next steps to expect in buying your home, and it says fall in love. I don't want you to buy something and spend that much money on and not be in love. That's like saying, oh, just get married. You can always get divorced. You know, I mean, you know, it's the same thing. Like, of course you can always sell your house. No, I want you to be in love. I want you to love this place that's going to provide shelter and fun and laughter and horror movies and romance and all of this stuff. So it's not about me. I'm only there to say, here's the information. So if somebody's like, how much would you offer for this house? I say, if I'm having a baby and I'm a young, freshly married couple with a couple babies, and my sister lives next door and she has a couple babies, and we can share babysitting and our cousins grow up together and whatnot, that house is $10,000 more valuable than it is to anyone else, because that's emotional. So it depends on what purpose this serves you. So I showed 10 properties yesterday, and they were all 2-level properties. The one property that was 1 level was the one these clients chose. They're elderly. They don't want to do stairs. They didn't even know that would be their preference. But when we got right down to it, you know, she's like, I don't want to climb stairs. I want this. So, you know, you buy something based on your greater need, whether it's free babysitting so that you can go out and not, you know, have to hire, or, you know, not climbing stairs or whatever, but that's what you choose based on your greater need. And that's an emotional need or a you know, where your friends are. You know, I bought a house that I could have parties at because I love to have parties, and I love all of my friends coming over here. My door's open all the time. They just pop in and help themselves. And, you know, I love that.
Awesome. This is a bit of a digression, but have you been having more parties since things started opening back up? Are you still kind
At the risk of being judged,
of, oh,
um,
okay.
I have a wonderful backyard, and so we have some semi appropriate social distancing out around. We've had a fire pit, and never more than 10 people. We're slightly respectful of the rules, and I have a really big yard. So I mean, if everybody's sitting around the fire pit, it's still, we're not that close to each other. And we'd order food. I've only had a couple of those. However, I do have a birthday coming up next Friday, and I think I'm having people over, and damn the consequences.
Well, happy
But it's going to
birthday.
be, thank you, but it's going to be an outdoor thing too. We're going to have, there's a wading pool. These are all just, blow up stuff. I do have a hot tub and a wading pool, and then we'll have a slip and slide, and it's just going to be, it's going to be silliness. But I really debated. I don't know, but yeah, I love having people over. I really do, and it's tough right now with the constraints.
Yeah, I really, that was not on my list. I would love to attend one of your parties. I feel like it would be a wonderful.
Anytime.
Oh man, I mean, I'm about 700 miles from you, but I'll figure it out.
My brother-in-law is driving from Indiana, from South Bend.
Oh, see, we're real south. We're
Oh,
Terre Haute area, kind of south. Yeah, but no, South Bend's south. South Bend. Okay,
yeah.
north, but okay. Anyway, okay, this might be a little controversial, and I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how the real estate world feels about this. Tiny homes. How do you feel about tiny homes? Have you ever sold one? Tell me about tiny homes. What do you think about them?
All right. So, first of all, the short answer is I love tiny homes. I've seen all of the tiny home nation stuff. I'm fascinated by them. I have a shed that is at the end of my driveway that I would love to make into a tiny home if I could just get all my trash out of it. But and I want a garage there. I don't have a garage, so that's a conflict. I'm like, I want a garage, but I really want to make that into a tiny home. I want to make it completely self-sustained. They make a compost toilet. They make, I have well water and city water, so I want to hook the well water up to it and put it through like some sort of a cleaning, because I don't think my well water is decent, so I have to fix the well water first. So I have on my wish list on Amazon for like 5 years now. I have this like tiny stove thing. It feels like a Barbie set to me, but it's a tiny house stove and kitchen thing. And I mean, I really want to do that, but it's a fantasy for another day. But I love tiny homes. I absolutely love it. I've not sold one before. I don't think it's for everyone, but I don't know why it would be controversial, because we're definitely going away from the McMansion era. There was a time where everybody wanted bigger and more. I don't have a large house. I have a huge yard. I love yard. My house is 4 outside. When I first moved here, I had a friend who used to say, I don't know why you bought a house, you never go inside, because we were just always outside. And it is, I mean, I love that. I have a house sufficient enough, it's great, it's wonderful, but it's not a mansion by any stretch. And I think at some point, I mean, I host a lot, so I feel like I design my house for my friends because that's the life I want. But I think if I had to live in a tiny house, I would love that. I have no issue with that, except for I have a dog and a cat. I don't know where they would live, but yeah.
They would have a tiny house next to the tiny house.
Next to the tiny house, little dog tiny and cat tiny. Exactly. Yeah, they would have to have their own tiny homes. No,
I actually saw I don't know how many cats you have, but I did see a cat.
Just the one. Yeah.
They said
just the one. It's when it's storming outside, she likes to sit near me because, she's a scaredy cat.
Right. All right. I've got one question for you, and it's the most important question of tea time with Rebel Kate. Do you take sugar in your tea?
I do not. I'm a salt person, not a sugar person. I was speaking metaphorically when I was talking about ice cream, but I was speaking honestly when I was talking about salt and vinegar potato chips. Because if I had to choose, gun to my head, which one, I'm choosing salt. I mean, I would just sit here, eating a salt popsicle if I could.
Nice.
I love salt. Sugar is not hard for me to give up. Salt is hard for me to give up.
Interesting.
So like if you're like go on a sugar-free whatever for a month, I'd be like, that's cool. Like it doesn't bother me at all. I don't but I do have like a whole tea bar back there, and it has honey, and I have powdered honey. Have you seen those? I have it in a little, yeah, it's something that's used in cooking, because when people make barbecue or rubs, they rather than using honey or sugar, they'll use powdered honey. So it's I have some of that, so you can just, little packets. It's really interesting. And all kinds of little sugar. And I do enjoy having guests, I must say. I enjoy it when they leave too, but I'm really excited. My brother-in-law is coming. He's staying for a week. He's coming for my birthday, and it's going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun.
When will he arrive? Like in the next day, or you said is he on the road today?
No. He's coming on Saturday and leaving the following Sunday.
Oh, so you get a whole week with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's wonderful.
Great. Yeah.
I actually, little secret, I had no idea that you were born in June. I had no idea.
I'm a June baby. As a matter of fact, I don't know if this is appropriate because it's a completely different discussion. And I am getting on a 9:00 call with a group about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was born on June 19th. And June 19th is actually called Juneteenth, or Jubilee Day, which is the day that slaves finally got independence enforced in Texas. And they celebrate that day similar to July 4th. It's more well known in Texas and not as well known in other places. But I love that that's my birthday. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do this year because of all of this unrest, and because it means something to me that I was born on that day. Well, I mean, that was in 1865, and I was born a little bit later than that, but not much.
No, that's a real positive birthday. I mean,
I love it.
That's wonderful. Vilas, you're a gem. I'm so glad you came on here with me today.
Say Gemini. Sorry, I'm all about the puns.
Me too. I'm on the other end though. I'm on the May side.
I know. I remember.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for remembering. Makes me feel good. But yes, but no, you are just so positive, and you always just brighten my day, and I appreciate you. Thank you for being on here with
Absolutely. Me. It was my pleasure a lot. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Hey, enjoy your 9:00 meeting, and I'll probably see you Tuesday.
Okay. I'll see you then.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay.